Hello everybody, and thank you again for watching my video. I hope that you enjoy. Here we are again looking at another book to overview there to see whether or not it's the right book for you when it comes to collecting and or reenacting any Russian stuff from World War One. I've had this book for a while. It's a great book. It is from Schiffer. I believe it costs somewhere around $70, and it's got about 350 pages on it. So let's begin with this uniform, or with this book here. I was able to put together my Russian impression. I didn't do it too much, but I did find out some pretty cool information around here, and we were able to make some of my own gear out of this. And here's some this is 1881, so it does do a little bit of Russo-Japanese era stuff, but very little, very little. And take a look at these little canteens here, or mess kits, I'm sorry, not canteens. These rucksacks, different styles. This papaha, which we will see later. This bashlik, which we'll see later. But so this book here, I look at the length of height of the boots here, which we'll also be talking about later. So this book here is actually quite big. If you look at my hand, it's pretty big. I know I don't have a big hand, but it's a pretty big book. It's got some really nice quality pictures like this. If you're a good tailor, you can make your own. Now I know that they sell reproductions of that now, but they didn't quite a while ago, and so I was kind of forced to make my own stuff. And we'll be looking at some pretty neat stuff in here. There's a lot of quite a bit of unit discussions here as well. The different types of Imperial Russian buckles. They are readily available on eBay. Just I think it depends on what you're looking for, but the general ones are still available. Now they did also use these single prong roller buckles. Now here's something interesting. These shovels tended to look the same in quite a few countries. There were minor differences. So as a reenactor, if you're looking to it's like, oh man, I want to do a German, or I want to be I got my German or my French stuff together, but I don't have the shovel, and but I got a Russian shovel, or the other way around. You can always get away with another country's shovel, because they all tended to look the same, and they don't all have some sort of stamping on it that you can easily say it's this one or that one. But there were quite a lot of similarities in those European style shovels. I never knew they had these. These look very Japanese style, and though these were 1893 models, so I don't think that the look at these, how similar they are to the Japanese Type 30s, but apparently these are 1893s. I'm not sure when Japanese had theirs. I have another book on that, but anyway, they look very similar, but they do have differences, especially right here in the bottom. They're rounded, so that's kind of cool to know in this book. Bandoliers, if you have a good eye, I bet you I can make that bandolier if you wanted to. Now here, remember those mannequins with these pots, these copper pots? Somebody was making these on Facebook, but they were like $100, $110, just because copper is expensive. And you see these pots were pretty standard issue, but you rarely see them on eBay, rarely. And when you do, they are beat to hell. Obviously, they used them in World War II as well. There's no way they were just gonna put them away or something, throw them away. But I've seen all of these on eBay, but in extremely bad condition, most of them, and very expensive. Now, if you saw my uniforms of World War One, I mentioned the Italian, and here's the Russian one. The British, as I mentioned, also had something similar. So again, if you are a collector, can be specific as to what you to look for whatever country. If you are a reenactor, you can, like I said, fudge something. Now, this is one I see on eBay all the time, but it's an 1894, and yet this one, a 1909, I've never seen this one. I've never seen this teardrop or round one. This is elongated one, but you never see the caps on these. Almost never see the cap. These are made or covered with straw and glass. The Germans did this also, but their bottles were shaped different. Now this is something I never see. This canteen cup. I've seen this cover. I think there's a reproduction of that. But here's the cork that you never see. Original anyway. Never see these. Never find. I would love to find one. Here are the rucksacks. There's different styles, different models, and this would be more of a style like I think they were using in World War II. Even though it's a 1914-15, but they still use those. Here's the Bashlik, which was only given out or used when it was like below zero or 20 below zero or some crazy thing. Some gas masks, if you like gas masks. Russian ones always look weird. Even Chernobyl, 1970s, 80s ones, they always look weird. Okay, let's get into some headwear. This is a standard cockade for infantry, I think. I've got one of these reproduction. Pretty cool. These are nice. And then you can start seeing the coat here. You can see that this guy doesn't have any buttons, but this one does. The actual coat closed on the side. It didn't overlap. And so sometimes you'll see them with buttons, sometimes you won't. It depends on the time period. The buttons were there just for decoration. See, this guy's got full buttons, but you can see that the coat actually closes on the side. And he's got the buckle, not the regular single prong buckle, not the fancy one. Now, this one here coming up. Okay, this here is something called a papaja or a ushanka. And these were for like sub-zero kind of stuff. I think a lot of you, if you don't know about these, I'm going to explain a little bit to you. You've seen these types of Russian hats, right? They're very familiar with Russian, Ukrainian, and such. But these are actually special. These are a lot taller because the sides fold down. And you see this little part right here? That's actually this. And it hooks up to the sides of this, and only your eyes are exposed. And here's a better picture of that. It flaps down, this comes out, and it basically only your eyes are exposed. So this is a very sub-zero type of headwear or papaja, while the other ones that I'm sure many or most of you have seen, like this one or even shorter, they don't flip down like that because they're not designed for that. Like this one is not designed to do that, and this one isn't either. You can see here that it's got color on top. For some reason, Kazakhs and I think I've even seen other European like Austrians and even British. I think Charge of the Light Brigade, if you see that movie, the original one, or not the original one, but the 60s, the cavalry, the hussars, and all those types of people, they wore stuff like this too with colors on top. And I don't know why they did that, but so here's another one that doesn't fold down. But here is another strange one, which was attributed to a Cossack, but I've seen these type of headwear in pictures from the Russo-Japanese War, and you can actually still get those on eBay from Uzbekistan. They're called Turkmen headwear or Turkmen hats. So if you're interested in one, you can look that up on eBay, and you should be able to find one. Just, I guess, look for your size. But so the term papaja is, my wife told me that it's specifically a term for headwear for extremely cold conditions, like a visor or a cap or a cowboy hat, top hat. All those are different types of specific hats, and so a papaja is specifically a keep your head very warm type of headwear. And she said it's actually an old word that they don't use all that much anymore over there, but people do know what it is. But it's just not something that they use anymore, really. This is one of those again that is more popularly known, but again, it doesn't fold down around the sides and the front. And of course, they use the Adrian helmets as well when they could. So it gives you all the details about that if you want to do that type of Russian uniform stuff. Lots of uniform stuff. Good Lord. Oh my God, all this kind of stuff. Good luck in finding that, right? Or if you want to do a particular type of unit, somewhere on the front, the western front or the eastern front, actually. But a lot of really good pictures, a lot of good information on the uniforms. And again, look at how high the boots are. The World War II boots were actually lower from what I remember reading. Look how high these things are, almost to the knee. And this guy is an infantry soldier. He's not an officer. Look how high they are. So that's a little, tidbit of information if you want to be more authentic. Though with a big coat, I don't think anyone's going to really notice. These gimnarskayas, which is shirts or pullovers, they were cotton and then wool for winter, of course. And they did come in different colors. They did come, sometimes were, the fancy ones, of course, homemade and such, or private purchase. Here we go again with buttons, and then the side is where it closes, and the fake buttons. Now these coats here, World War I, World War II, see no buttons and buttons. The coats here for World War I and World War II, and actually the Russo-Japanese War, they were all basically the same up until even the 70s is what I read. Now, I believe it came into service before the Russo-Japanese War. I haven't read this in a long time, I apologize, but if you're definitely doing World War I, World War II, you can absolutely get even a coat from the 70s, even the 80s if they still had them, because they changed so little that there's virtually no difference in appearance. And so you should very easily be able to find those coats. It should be very easy to find those coats. And nice pictures on the back. It's a very rough feeling wool. Very thick and very heavy. Much heavier than the American and much more rough feeling than the American style. They don't really do a lot of Cossack stuff, just a very little. Now the weapons, for those of you who have seen any videos by Scene Arsenal, you'll know that they got whatever they could get. I have a Boys in the Gun dated 1898, and it's really nice condition. I think it's some of the guys who've seen it, they said it's got like German capture parts or stamps, even some Swedish service stamps or something. Different rifles or rifles, stamps and markings and buckles and all that kind of stuff. That's another hobby all into itself if you like weapons. I like to shoot my stuff. I like to have it. I like to know a little bit about it. I don't need to know every freaking screw and swing, swivel, and good Lord. But there's people who they get into that, and I guess if it tickles their fanny, then whatever. But the Russians would get Gras, Verlys, Vitalis, Lebels, Berthiers, Winchesters, Burdins, whatever the living hell, Type 30 and Type 38 Arisakas, whatever the hell anybody would give them, they would take it. And so they have all that. They cover quite a bit of that. in this book as well, and some of the French bayonets. So this is coming to the end of this book. So if you like this book, I hope that I gave you a good heads up on it. I do believe it's worth the price. It's a very nice book, big, good pictures, good information, and a lot of this kind of stuff too towards the back here. Artillery, Cossack, oh my goodness. Again, there's just some people who get all into the shoulder boards and finding out all that kind of stuff. Good Lord. Railway troops, good Lord. Staff units, military, oh goodness. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff in this book for everybody. So I hope that I did this book justice. I hope I did not waste your time. And I hope that if you decide to buy this book, you know, you like think back and say, hey, that dude gave me a good overview of this book and I want it now. So I will see you guys on the next video where I do another overview of another book. Alright, take care.